An awesome array of weapons is ready to be launched against Iraq. The window for a diplomatic solution is about to close.
It is in the hands of the Iraqi leadership to work with us.
The material witness in last month's fatal clinic bombing is now officially a suspect.
Federal arrest warrant has been issued for Eric Robert Rudolph.
And El Niño's assault on California. The soggy soil is slipping, and the landslide damage is not covered by insurance.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News reported by Brian Williams. Substituting tonight is Dawn Fratangelo.
Good evening, everyone. The showdown with Saddam tonight is moving ever so close to real military action. More U.S. troops are heading to the Gulf, the missiles are ready, and the White House is trying to prepare the American people for the likelihood of military strikes. But the U.S. has yet to convince some world leaders who are still calling for diplomacy, not war. NBC's John Palmer is at the White House with the latest. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Dawn. The president worked the telephones today trying to round up international support for military action against Iraq. At the same time, preparation for airstrikes is moving ahead with more combat units and military support groups like the 89th Civil Engineer Squadron leaving U.S. bases for the Persian Gulf. U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff General Michael Ryan is already there, discussing military preparations today in Kuwait. Next week, the administration will launch a major campaign to prepare the nation for war. Tuesday, the president visits the Pentagon for a briefing from military leaders. He then delivers a major address to the American people on Iraq. Wednesday, Secretary of State Albright, Defense Secretary Cohen, and National Security Advisor Berger make an unusual joint appearance in America's heartland, Ohio State University at Columbus, to lay out U.S. objectives and the risk of casualties. Thursday, Secretary Albright visits Nashville to continue the public information campaign on Iraq. Domestic support is especially important since China today joined Russia and France in refusing to back a military strike.
I came to consult and not to preach. I did not come here to try to get China support for airstrikes.
Russia today stepped up pressure on UN Secretary General Kofi Annan to make a last-ditch visit to Baghdad to avert war.
Before I get to Baghdad, I need to have certain common understandings and a perception or expectation that the trip will be useful.
White House officials said today they support any diplomatic effort that would bring about a solution, but their bottom line remains the same: complete Iraqi compliance with those UN inspectors. Dawn?
John Palmer at the White House tonight. Thank you. Now we go to NBC's Tom Aspel, who's in Baghdad. Tom, could a visit by the UN Secretary General really make a difference at this late stage?
Well, the Iraqis might see it as a way out, but here's the catch. Kofi Annan has made it clear he's not willing to come to Baghdad unless Iraq changes its position. The Russians are pushing him to come, but unless Iraq says it's willing to grant UN weapons inspectors unrestricted access, Kofi Annan is not going to waste his time to come to Baghdad to haggle and bargain with Saddam Hussein. Dawn?
Tom, is there any sign tonight of Saddam Hussein rallying his people for a possible attack?
None at all. Saddam Hussein was shown on TV tonight meeting with members of his inner cabinet, and he does have envoys traveling the Mideast looking for political support. Meanwhile, his million-person civilian army continues to train, but it's largely window dressing at this point. Iraq is practically defenseless. Its tactic is going to be to sit back and take punishment and wait for world public opinion to stop the bombing. Meanwhile, Iraqi officials have confirmed to us that military bases throughout the country will be empty at the time of an attack, and that they fully expect American planes to go looking for targets in civilian areas. Dawn?
All right, NBC's Tom Aspel in Baghdad tonight. Thank you. The weapons aimed at Iraq this time are smarter than those used in Desert Storm, and there will be more of them. NBC's Fred Francis has more.
Whether fired from planes or launched from warships, missiles will be America's deadly calling card in any military strike against Saddam Hussein. The Pentagon says this batch is more lethal than any before it, especially the Navy's new Tomahawk cruise missile. Some have titanium warheads to punch through thick concrete, and they're smarter.
These missiles have much improved engines. They have much improved guidance systems. designed, of course, to go exactly where we put them.
The Navy says the Tomahawk can fly 1,000 miles with a 1,000-pound warhead and hit a 50-foot bullseye. One senior Navy official told NBC News the Navy has about 400 cruise missiles on ships in the Gulf right now. He said, don't be surprised if the Navy fires more than half of them at Iraqi targets. So many, there are concerns about mid-air collisions.
One of the biggest challenges we face, of course, in the Gulf is, number one, the number of ships are going to be firing, their stationing, and the ability to make sure the missiles don't come close to obstructions on the way.
There will be more missiles in the air than aircraft, but that's safer for fighter pilots who have smart weapons of their own. This is a SLAM, or Standoff Land Attack Missile, which can be fired from more than 50 miles away. An infrared beam guides the missile to its target while the pilot watches it on a video screen in the cockpit. The young men who load the munitions are eager to get started.
Most of the crew's already been here twice, and I'm sure right now they want to go take care of the job so we don't have to come back here for a third time.
After the Gulf War, assessments revealed that the smart weapons didn't always live up to their reputation. Even if these new missiles hit everything they target, the question remains, will that be enough to bend the will of Saddam Hussein? Fred Francis, NBC News in the Persian Gulf.
And Iraq is a key topic tomorrow on NBC's Meet the Press. White House National Security Advisor Sandy Berger will be joining Tim Russert. When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, stepping up the search for bombing suspect Eric Rudolph in hopes he will surrender. And later in Focus, how the issue of death and dying is dividing the medical community.
Today, the new language of business is digital. Sharp speaks it fluently and can translate it in ways that make sense for you. Digital networkable copiers that can print, sort, and staple from your desktop PC means your work flows faster and more efficiently. And Sharp faxes with Super G3 technology simply means you'll do more in less time and save money. In this digital world, there's only one word you need to know: Sharp, translating the new language of business.
Most cold medicines can raise your blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, don't take chances. Get the facts from the American Heart Association. This message is brought to you by Coricidin HBP, cold medicine specially formulated for people with high blood pressure.
Eldorado. It's the legendary car for people who go their own way.
The FBI's manhunt for Eric Robert Rudolph took on new urgency today when he was formally named as a suspect in that fatal bombing of an Alabama clinic where abortions are performed. NBC's Frederica Whitfield has the latest tonight.
As the search for Eric Rudolph enters its third week, today, federal authorities announced he's more than just a material witness, but the man believed responsible for the deadly bombing of that Birmingham women's clinic last month.
Now that there is an arrest warrant, a criminal complaint, we're going to be looking even closer at whether or not certain individuals may be harboring Mr. Rudolph as a fugitive.
A $100,000 reward is being offered, and authorities even made a personal appeal for his surrender.
Now, it may take some moral courage on Eric's part. It may not be an easy decision for Eric, but it's the right thing to do.
The massive search for Rudolph, believed armed and dangerous, has been focused on his hometown in Cherokee County, North Carolina, where he was last seen renting videos and buying food. Cherokee County is a remote lumber and farm community of 22,000 nestled deep in western North Carolina, a 4-hour drive from Birmingham. Residents from this area who know Rudolph say he's quiet, but has been outspoken about at least one thing.
I know he was no big fan of big government, which I'm not myself.
Investigators say evidence places Rudolph at the bombing, but they aren't sure whether others may be involved. Frederica Whitfield, NBC News, Murphy, North Carolina.
Wind and rain pummeled parts of California again today, increasing the risk of mudslides and more damage. NBC's George Lewis tonight.
The experts are talking about $1 billion worth of damage in California from mudslides alone, shifting ground saturated with water. And today's additional rain didn't help matters. Most Californians are not covered by insurance.
Flood insurance is the only insurance that's going to cover you for a mudslide.
This $750,000 house in the Berkeley Hills was torn down last night because the land underneath it is too unstable and the house is a hazard to neighboring properties. The big area of concern in Northern California continues to be Rio Nido on the Russian River, some 60 miles north of San Francisco. A sliding hillside here could dump 250,000 cubic yards of mud on the town. More than 200 people who have been forced out of their houses because of the danger gathered at a community meeting last night to hear the latest. These people are stressed and tired, and they did not get an answer to their major question.
When are we going to get back into our houses on Canyon 3 Road? Most of us feel like they're overstating the danger that's there.
But this woman, whose house was bowled over by the mud, saw it differently.
The emergency people are telling you guys it's not safe. Listen, you're not going to outrun the mud. You're not going to outrun the big trees.
It could be months before people will be permitted to return to Rio Nido. The El Nino storms show no sign of letting up. So, a waiting game here in Rio Nido, people praying for a break in the weather, hoping that when they finally return to their homes, the homes will still be intact. George Lewis, NBC News, Rio Nido, California.
And today, for the first Saturday since the Monica Lewinsky story broke, independent counsel Kenneth Starr stayed away from his office. But there were some new disclosures about the case today. NBC's Chip Reed joins us now from the White House. Good evening, Chip.
Good evening, Dawn. During the president's deposition in the Paula Jones suit last month, he was asked detailed questions about Monica Lewinsky. Now comes word of exactly how Jones's attorneys knew what to ask. The new information places former White House aide Linda Tripp at the center of the president's troubles. Tripp, who turned over taped conversations with Monica Lewinsky to independent counsel Ken Starr, also helped Paula Jones's attorneys in their suit against Mr. Clinton. The night before the president went to this Washington office building to give a sworn deposition in that case, Tripp met with a member of Jones's legal team. Sources tell NBC News she gave them enough information to ask detailed questions about the president's relationship with Lewinsky, questions that White House aides say caught the president by surprise. Newsweek magazine, in next week's edition, out tomorrow, publishes computer notes Lewinsky sent Tripp, which back up some of the claims she made on audio tape. Meanwhile, an agreement was reached that will allow retired Secret Service officer Louis Fox to testify before the grand jury about his claim that he once ushered Lewinsky into the Oval Office where she spent at least 20 minutes with the president. Fox's attorney doubts, however, that the testimony has much value.
He did not perceive then, and he doesn't perceive now, that that was something that was unusual, something that needed to be reported or particularly recorded, because it didn't seem to be that unusual. So I don't see the context in which that's a smoking gun.
Fox is scheduled to appear before the grand jury Tuesday morning. Still no word on a date for Monica Lewinsky. Dawn?
All right, NBC's Chip Reed at the White House tonight. Thank you. When NBC Nightly News continues, differing views from doctors on the subject of assisted suicide.
Morning, George. George Jr., George Sr.
Hi. Hey.
Morning. Like to see how your cereals stack up the Total?
Sure.
Hope you're hungry. To get the vitamins in one bowl of Total, you'd have to eat 2 bowls of cornflakes.
Eat up, son.
You'd need 4 bowls of Raisin Bran.
And a really big spoon.
10 bowls of shredded wheat for you.
What's so funny? Nothing.
Nice bowls.
Total has 100% of 10 vitamins and minerals in just 1 bowl.
We'll take the Total. And give Junior the check.
Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. 1 bowl, 100%.
Someday I'd like a slightly larger house. Security for my kids, maybe even a little bit for retirement. All right, a lot.
Schwab's Mutual Fund OneSource gives you access to hundreds of no-load funds. And our valuable tools can help you build your portfolio. Call now for our free select list.
Because part of setting a goal is finding a way to reach it.
1-minute Maalox.
In hospitals, speed counts. Fast-acting medicines, doctors rely on them. So when patients get heartburn, they get 1-minute Maalox, not Pepcid AC. Clinical studies prove Maalox starts to work on stomach acid in about 1 minute, while Pepcid AC could take over 45 minutes. Here, that's an eternity. 1-minute Maalox. Hospitals turn to it first. Shouldn't you?
For heartburn and acid indigestion, do what hospitals do. Count on 1-minute Maalox.
Sunday on Today, fabulous winter vacations, and you don't even have to know how to ski. Plus, Dustin Hoffman and Sharon Stone star in a new sci-fi thriller. We'll preview Sphere Sunday on Today.
In focus this evening, doctor-assisted suicide. It's legal in the state of Oregon, though doctors hesitate to do it for fear of losing their federal licenses. And just this week, both houses of the legislature in Maine rejected a proposal to make it legal there. All across the country, doctors are divided over when or whether to help the terminally ill commit suicide. And the issue was debated this weekend in San Diego at the annual meeting of the American Academy of Pain Management.
Even as medicine has said that this is not consistent with our professional ethic, society has continued to say in many, many ways, but you're not listening, you're not taking care adequately of our illnesses, of our concerns at the end of life. So we need to hear this as a powerful wake-up call.
Suicide is not the right word for this, by the way. Technically, it's correct. From a meaning point of view, though, suicide means the destruction of the self. For people who are in this narrow class, ready to die, they feel like their personhood is being destroyed by their disease. They do not see death as self-destruction. It is actually self-preservation.
Many people, I think, are willing to accept the fact that, yes, I will die if I no longer accept these intensive treatments. I don't want to die, but I can accept that I will die. I think that's different from a person who goes to Dr. Quill and says, what I need is to be able to die soon. I don't want to botch it. I want you to give me your expert help in doing it.
Well, I'll have to say that death-seeking versus death-accepting doesn't ring true to me at all. Okay, not a drop. The people that I know who have taken an overdose at the end of their life that did so at the end of great deliberation, none of them was death-seeking. To a person, they would have chosen to live if they could have lived in a way that would be meaningful to them.
If we acquiesce to physician-assisted suicide, we are essentially saying to Americans, to our patients, that there is some life that is valueless, because unless we give in to every person that comes in and requests assisted suicide, it will become the role of the physician to evaluate those requests and determine that this person's request has validity, but that person's request does not. And we will be the ones sitting in judgment of whether or not a person can choose to end their life.
So when a patient says, I have had it and I'm ready to die, the question is, why now? Tell me more about that. What makes it so excruciating at this moment? Help me understand it. And oftentimes in that exploration, you will find ways to help a person decide to keep going.
And adding to those voices, in its ruling on the topic last year, the United States Supreme Court said dying patients do not have a fundamental right to a doctor's help in controlling when and how they die. But the court said states do have the power to pass laws permitting assisted suicide. That settled the key legal argument, but the moral and political issues have yet to be resolved. We're back with an Olympic moment in just a moment.
Grandpa, can I marry you?
Oh, honey, you're so young. I could never keep up with you.
But Mom says that's why you think that.
Ensure is the #1 doctor-recommended supplement. It helps you stay healthy, active, energetic. As a snack or occasional meal, it's a source of complete, balanced nutrition.
I'm sure you'll marry someone even more fun than me.
Will you at least come to the wedding?
Sure. I'll be there.
Ensure, the #1 doctor-recommended supplement. Drink to your health.
You're not eating oatmeal?
This is oatmeal.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's toasted oatmeal. Toasted, crunchy.
You're putting the oatmeal in the toaster?
No, I don't toast the oatmeal. Quaker toasts the oatmeal. Quaker toasted oatmeal.
It's pre-toasted.
Quaker toasted oatmeal. Delicious flakes of toasted oatmeal with crunchy clusters of honey-sweetened oats. It's your other oatmeal.
They should call this Quaker Tasty Oatmeal.
We'll write a letter.
Play the Quaker Academy Awards game. Win a trip to Hollywood or one of 10,000 other prizes from Planet Hollywood.
You won!
Unlike most computer offers, this gateway system comes complete with everything you need for only $14.99. A 233 MHz Intel Pentium processor with MMX technology, a color monitor, even a color printer. And if you ever have a question, this gateway computer comes with our friendly, award-winning customer support, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all for just $14.99. Call us at 1-800-GATEWAY and we'll build one for you.
When you get heartburn, indigestion, and pain, don't get these to relieve all your symptoms. When pain this bad grabs you, don't grab these for complete or fast relief. Problems this bad need the 100% solution. Alka-Seltzer, the only one with both the effervescent power to speed relief and the medicines to relieve all your symptoms. Heartburn and pain are no problem when you've got the 100% solution. Alka-Seltzer.
To Nagano, Japan, where bad weather has disrupted the skiing schedule. The Olympic Games are now at the halfway mark. America's athletes have a total of 6 medals. But no one is dominating like Eric Hayden did at Lake Placid when he won 5 gold medals. Well, now Hayden performs in quite a different arena. NBC's Mike Betcher tonight.
For a few spectacular days in 1980, these were the most famous legs in the world. Who can forget the determination as Eric Hayden's 28-inch thighs powered him to 5 gold medals, the most gold ever won by an Olympian in a single Winter Games.
The farther I get away from it, it's given me a lot more appreciation of what I did and the accomplishment. Being an Olympic champion certainly has opened up a lot of doors for me.
Dr. Eric Hayden, clinical professor of orthopedic surgery at the University of California, Davis.
So why did a man who earned considerable fame on the strength of his legs choose a new life, out of the spotlight, based on the dexterity of his hands?
Because he feared that fame would control him instead of him controlling it. He was determined to make his own choices, so he chose not to be the athlete poster boy for a cereal maker. They wanted him to make appearances. He wanted to go to school.
You were rubbing elbows with some of the wealthiest people around, some of the most influential people around, and then when you're not the top dog anymore, all of a sudden people forget about you pretty quick.
So quietly he went his own way, was his own man. To help pay for school, he took up a new sport, professional bike racing, and excelled in that too. Still, athletics was a means to an end. And in the end, he fulfilled his real dream, to be a world-class surgeon.
I'm going to make that incision.
And he's sharing that dream with a new generation of surgeons. One of his students, his wife, Karen, a third-year resident. Today, he still skates, but the stakes are lower. He's on the ice for fun, but the drive to win still burns fiercely. Perhaps that's a clue to his hockey nickname, Ripper. As for the medals, this one in his office isn't real. It's as plastic as the skeleton. His parents keep 4 of the 5 real ones, but just ask him if you can see the 5th.
And where is it?
It's in the drawer with all the underwear.
Well, not exactly.
That's not it. Where did this thing go? Here it is. Lake Placid, 1980. 18 years ago. I'm getting old.
Eric Hayden is 39 now, so at ease with who he is that he finally said yes to a cereal maker. It's not a sellout, he says, but his own choice. And his choices have made him world-class in everything he touches, whether it's skates or scalpels. Mike Betcher, NBC News, Sacramento.
When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, Valentine's Day 1998, red roses and dandy candy.
Why does Tums control acid faster than Pepcid AC? Because they work on your stomach acid in totally different ways. Tums Calcium naturally, rapidly neutralizes acid so it works fast. Pepcid AC's famotidine has to travel through your bloodstream, so it takes at least 40 minutes to block natural acid production. So why does Tums work on acid faster and cost less, and Pepcid AC works slower and costs more?
Good question.
At Staples, we're constantly lowering prices to make them as competitive as possible. So you always get the guaranteed low prices on over 7,000 items. And who wouldn't love that?
And that's the last one. Good news, Willis. We're lowering prices again. Lock up when you're done. All right! That kid was a find.
For guaranteed low prices on over 7,000 supplies and free delivery, it's Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
Another breakthrough from the 1 Hour Labs of Lens Crafters. New Featherweights Plus lenses. They're lighter, they're thinner, they're more impact resistant. And now they're twice as scratch resistant compared to regular plastic lenses. New Featherweights Plus, only from Lens Crafters, made in about an hour.
You were going to try the patch, but you didn't. You were going to try the gum. You didn't. And you're still smoking. It's time to see your doctor about totally different ways to help you quit. Not a patch, not a gum, but prescription medicine that can help separate you from your cigarettes. Ask your doctor or call 1-888-959-STOP and finally, break free from smoking.
Tonight, the Oscar nominations are in. Will one of the biggest disasters in history become one of the most honored movies in history? On Time and Again, tonight on MSNBC.
Finally tonight, well, it happens every year. People fall victim to that incurable romantic named Cupid. NBC's Rick Davis on what happens when he's on target.
Question. On a cold and windy day, why would a couple stand at the top of the Empire State Building in a tuxedo and gown? Clue. It's a wedding dress.
The bond of matrimony is the joining of two individuals.
7 couples won a contest to be married on Valentine's Day in this room with a view. But they weren't the only Valentine's Day winners. In England, 6 million people called in to be among the 100 couples flying to New York. Romance wasn't the only reason to fly.
Oh, shopping, yes. Oh, shopping, yes. Well, you can say that, can't you? Spends a fortune on clothes.
No.
Shopping. A lot of people do that for Valentine's Day, for just the right card, or the perfect flowers. How about 12 dozen roses for $1,000 to make love bloom? It bloomed for Vivian and Frank Clark in 1920. After a 77-year marriage, they are still smiling right through their middle years up to today.
When you take them vows, stick to it.
Marriage is a give and take. And besides love, you've got to be understanding.
And a lot of people understand that on Valentine's Day, romance is helped by a box of candy, or strawberries dipped in chocolate, or something a little more expensive. In Loveland, Colorado, the post office and senior volunteers keep romance going. Cards come from all over the world to get that special postmark, Loveland. And for over 90 years, Necco Valentine candies have carried romantic words. But for the final words, back to Vivian and Frank in Rockford, Illinois.
Happy Valentine, honey.
Rick Davis, NBC News, New York.
Some real sweet talk. That's NBC Nightly News for this February 14th. On Weekend Magazine tonight on MSNBC on cable at 9 Eastern and Pacific, the last seconds of Princess Diana's fatal car ride. A computer animation shows what may have gone wrong. I'm Dawn Fratangelo in New York, and from all of us here at NBC News, good night.
NBC News, America's news leader. Sunday.